Mars is a planet that still causes a lot of controversy and questions. It is located close enough to Earth, and the possibility of its terraforming or colonization is an idea bordering on science fiction, which may become a reality in a few decades. But scientists must first study what Mars once looked like and what made it a desolate, lifeless place. According to many theories, billions of years ago, the red planet could have been similar to Earth and was an ideal place for living things. So, let's take a peek into its history. Hypotheses suggest that Earth and Mars were formed from materials that collided with each other. However, scientists now say that Earth and Mars were formed by several collisions of material from the interior of the solar system, rather than accretion of material from the outer solar system. It's worth noting that billions of years ago, the sun was cooler and less bright, and there were two planets in the solar system with liquid water covering most of their surface. We're talking about Earth and Mars, of course. This is not a sci-fi movie script, but facts proven by scientists. The celestial bodies had significant amounts of greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide. Both may even have had primitive life forms in their young oceans, paving the way for friendly future biology. Planetary scientists studying Mars have long known that this celestial body once looked very different than it does today. Its surface was not so unfriendly. After all, today we see craters, extremely low temperatures, and sandstorms. However, just 3.5 billion years ago, many of the various craters on the surface of the planet Mars were filled with water. Interestingly, the liquid poured out beyond them, forming riverbeds that today look like desert crevasses or canyons. There is compelling evidence that Mars had a watery past. Seasonal ice can be found not only at the poles, but also in the various depressions and craters that dot its surface. Traces of water, like dried-up riverbeds, bends of old rivers, and traces of ancient streams leading into great ocean basins, are found all over the red planet. It's a bit unimaginable today, but early Mars had a dense, water-rich atmosphere that gradually depleted without the protection of a strong magnetic field. Both the red planet and Earth had early atmospheres that were heavy, massive, and extremely rich in CO2. On Earth, however, carbon dioxide is absorbed by the oceans and trapped in carbonate rocks. Our neighbor planet did not have this process because the oceans were too acidic. The presence of sulfur dioxide led to the formation of Martian oceans rich in sulfuric acid. This led to the geology of Mars, which is being discovered today by rovers exploring its surface. Earth and Mars have changed dramatically over the past few billion years. Our planet became oxygen-rich and habitable, while Mars simply died. Her oceans disappeared, she lost her atmosphere, and still no signs of life have been found there. Long ago, Mars went from a warm, wet planet to the cold, dry, and unpleasant place it is today. Many scientists over the decades have wondered what caused it, and science knows the answer. It is due to climate change over billions of years. One possible explanation is that Mars experienced a massive collision with an asteroid that removed part of the planet's atmosphere and turned off its magnetic field. Another theory of change on the red planet suggests that the celestial body, being only half the diameter of Earth, with a lower density and smaller core, cooled down enough that its active magnetic field stalled. This could have been a turning point in the planet's history. One thing is certain, the changes are due to the fading magnetic field. Its absence allowed the solar wind to destroy the entire atmosphere. Here it is worth adding that the magnetic field is generated by the dynamo effect in the planet's core. Currently, the interior of Mars is smaller and colder than on Earth, and does not generate any field to support a possible atmosphere. Scientists have several suggestions on how to create an artificial magnetic field, but that's a topic for another article. NASA's MAVEN mission was supposed to answer questions about climate change on Mars. Its goal is to measure the rate at which the atmosphere is currently being blown away from Mars by the solar wind. From the data, infer the rate throughout the history of the red planet. The scientists found that a timescale of about 100 million years would have been enough to transform a world the size of Mars, not protected from the solar wind, from a planet with an Earth-like atmosphere to what it is now. According to scientists' assumptions, 65% of the argon of the Martian atmosphere has been lost. It's worth noting that argon is a noble gas, and the only process that can remove it into space is atomization caused by the solar wind. Astronomers could relate this research to the loss of carbon dioxide through our planet's atmosphere. Many fear that the history of Mars could repeat itself on Earth. Therefore, these processes scientists want to study more thoroughly because they are important to us. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to learn more about space.